everyone, Husky Ninja here, and today I'm gonna have a look at Weiss Schwarz trial decks that I personally recommend for beginners. This doesn't necessarily mean they're only for beginners, but they're ones I have personally found are very beginner friendly. And I will get into why it is for each one. So without further ado, let's start! And first off the gate, we have Love Live Sunshine. This is the first trial deck. So this is more of your Midsummer Aquarium, aka Season 1 of Love Live Sunshine. It's a good trial deck for beginners, as it helps you get used to how mechanics work. For example, how combos work between two characters, where it's like, the amount of characters of this name, they get this to happen. Which for this one, it is one of the Hinamaru cards. Has it from the level 0 Ruby assist card. Also helps you get used to how climax combos work, as well as how backups work. It's just an overall really good beginner-friendly deck. I learned this from personal experience, as it is actually the trial deck that got me started on playing Weiss Schwarz. So I highly recommend it. For those of you who are new, it's not a challenging trial deck, but did come out before the standby climax card trigger did come out. But once you've gotten used to how the trial deck runs, we then have the second Love Live Sunshine trial deck. This is the Trial Deck Plus, and I refer to this one as the Happy Party Train trial deck, as that is the main motif of this trial deck. It does help mix in this one with the first one, as it helps fix some of the things where it's like, as a beginner, like, oh, this is quite lacking, or this is too complicated. This one introduces some more abilities and different sorts of climax combos. This also has the level 0 Dea Kurosawa card, where if it's reversed, you can send your opponent to the bottom of their deck, if I remember correctly, or to the waiting room. It's one of the two. But it also has the Marihara assist card, which is Marihara Happy Party Train, where it's all characters in front of this get 500 power, but also has the extra assist ability of, if you play a climax card, you can give an extra 1,000. The only downside of this one, with its cards, is one of its level 3s. I personally hated using it, as well as its event. But there are a lot of cards in this that if you just go with this trial deck and the first one for Love Live Sunshine, you'll do quite well. Again, this came out before the standby trigger came out. These are also both available in English and Japanese. And it is a fun set. Next up, we have Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. This came out when everyone was doing 8 standby builds of decks. But surprisingly, this set doesn't run standby. It is a really easy to get on with, straight out the box sort of trial deck. It does have a slightly broken level 3, where you basically clear both your opponent's stage and your own stage, apart from one level 3 card as its ability. But if you have plenty of stock, you can easily get your cards that were sent to the waiting room back out onto the field. So it's good for that. There's nothing too cumbersome with it. There's nothing like too advanced with card abilities or anything. It's a nice and easy trial deck. And it's also really easy to combine 2 trial decks together for Dragon Maid. Even if you don't go with like the paper game, I was like, hey, we recommend these alterations. It's just easier to find your own playstyle with 2 trial decks. Form as Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. Combine them together. And you're good to go. Even just having a single trial deck of this is super beginner friendly. But the only downside is there's no standby in the trial deck or even in the set as a whole. There is standby though in Love Live Sunshine, but in JP. And I don't think standby came over to English if I remember correctly. But next up, we have Seikano. I have got a few trial decks of this. The trial deck is easy to get on with, on its own. But it's also easy to mix a few trial decks and some booster cards to do really fun decks. It is more of the technical side of beginner friendly. But it's not the point of you feel like it's going to be hard to run. Even if you're not a fan of Seikano with the manga, light novel, or the anime, or if you never watched those, like myself, it's still a fun set to play. The trial deck is still beginner friendly. So I do recommend this one as well. Especially if you want something that's slightly different than you'd find with the Love Live Sunshine trial decks or to the Dragon Maid trial deck. And I have been seeing that the trial deck for Seikano recently has been going for relatively not too much. The same with Dragon Maid and also with Love Live Sunshine's trial decks. And next up, we have the one that, for a good while, people never thought was going to come to Weiss Schwarz. But I had a feeling it would. And that is the Ruby trial deck. It is a surprisingly easy to get on with trial deck. And you don't have to do too much to the trial deck to make it easier to run. Which is what we're all after for trial decks. It introduces the whole thing of climax combos. But with this trial deck, it has it. This one climax card has a combo with 2 cards. One being a Weiss and the other being a Ruby. Yes, people say it's not one of the best trial decks, but for beginners, it definitely is a really good deck. It also features as level 0, where you can get a power boost as long as you meet its conditions with your stock level. And easy to get on with assist cards. And there's nothing really too confusing with it. It's like, oh, what does this card mean when it wants me to do this or that? It is a really beginner-friendly deck. I know Ruby's not everyone's cup of tea, but if you're looking for a super beginner-friendly deck, I definitely recommend the Ruby trial deck. It is a red-blue color deck, so 2 colors. But because of that, it's super easy to run and get used to, like, color mechanic, where with Love Live Sunshine's trial deck, it's 3 color. Remember correctly, Dragon Maid's only 2 color as well. Unless it's 3 color, but don't hold me on that. But it helps you get used to how color mechanics work for your leveling, without there being the whole thing of, oh, I've leveled, like, for example, like 2 reds, and one of this, I can't play the other color. It saves you that worry of when your clock is empty. It is also a really fun trial deck to run. And because of that, I recommend it. And next up, we have the Project Sakai trial decks. Now, I am showing the Vivid Bad Squad trial deck, as out of the 3 I have personally played, which are Leonid, More Jump, and Vivid Bad Squad I've played. There is also 2 other trial decks for the other 2 groups. But out of the trial decks that I have personally played, Vivid Bad Squad's one runs a bit smoother. More Jump is more your typical, like, idle set type mechanics. And Leonid is just a lot of power boost here, power boost there. And eventually it's like, if you add more cards to it, just strictly stick into Leonid. You also have, like, this does this, depending on the amount of colors you have. But if you want something straight out the box that's easy to run, I do recommend the Vivid Bad Squad trial deck. The only thing I will make beginners be aware of with Project Sakai set is there are cards of the Vocaloid members. They are all the same in each trial deck. The only difference being the backup Miku is slightly different each one. But you need, regardless of that and the level of this backup Miku, you need to ignore the level and color and just go with the card name for those cards specifically from the trial deck. Apart from that being the awkward, like, oh, how do I go about this with trial decks when you're mixing them together? Straight out of the box, for, like, you want more of an aggressive deck, go with Vivid Bad Squad. If you want your more typical, like, Idol Master-esque Idol type of gameplay, go with More Jump. But if you want something more like the Love Live series gameplay for those series, go for either More Jump or Leonid. They are a good way to get used to how the decks work. Like, all of them are. They have their own strengths and weaknesses. But it all depends with Project Sakai. It's like if you want an aggressive deck or not. But also, which of the 5 groups in Project Sakai are your favorite. And that is basically what I highly recommend for beginners. Is stick with a series you know you enjoy. Because you don't want to get a trial deck for a series you're not going to enjoy or you don't like and be like, why did I waste this money? This trial deck's not fun to play. Trial decks I do not recommend at all for beginners from personal experience is Fruits of Gracia is definitely a no. I also am a little hesitant to recommend people the Hololive 5th gen trial deck, which is the one with Lammy in. Because you don't have any level 0 assists. Your only assist is at level, I think it's like level 1 or level 2. So, because of that, it really put me off the Hololive set. I also find it hard to recommend people the Madoka Magica Trial Deck Plus. If you ever see people review it or play it, just the Trial Deck Plus on its own compared to the mainline Madoka Magica deck, which you can mix those two together. The Trial Deck Plus Madoka Magica one definitely highly reads, this is an add-on for the normal Trial Deck, and it's not beginner friendly. So I do recommend looking up videos and gameplay and unboxings of sets you do enjoy, that you do know have a Weiss Schwarz set. Because as a Weiss Schwarz player and an otaku, I don't like it when you're stuck with something you don't enjoy. Because part of the joy of Weiss Schwarz is it's merch of your favorite anime. And such. If you're brand new to Weiss Schwarz, go for a set you know you're going to enjoy. So, until next time, please don't forget to give me a like and a subscribe. Make sure your notifications are off, because YouTube will hide the videos from you guys otherwise. And please don't be afraid to check out the rest of the Weiss Schwarz videos here on my channel. I even have a Weiss Schwarz 101 series. I also have gameplay on here as well, and occasionally I even do unboxings. I also do deck overview videos. So until next time, bye! And also, comment down below, what series in Weiss Schwarz do you guys enjoy? And which ones you would recommend to new players as well. So until next time,